Welcome back to MVM. Today, I don't have a board game anywhere on this table. It's because I have all of these tokens set up. These are from Top Shelf Gamer, and if you're familiar at all, you'll know that these things are incredibly high quality replacements for the bits and pieces in all of your board games. They use resin, acrylic, even metal in some of these things. And these are their 4 boxes that they have right now available on Kickstarter. You can get one, you can get all 4. Today, I'm going to go through each box one by one, tell you what's inside, and maybe even crown sort of a champion of each box in terms of what my favorite component is in each one. Let's start with the treasure chest. It's volume 1 of this collection, and inside you're going to find 6 of the most basic resources that you could find in so many different Euros, including wood, stone, ore, coal, clay or brick, and gold ingots. Most of these are made of resin, but the gold ingots and the ore are actually metal, so they actually have even more weight to them. All of these have a finish to them that's exactly what you'd expect them to look like. The ore and the coal look like ore and coal. The wood, in particular, has an incredible amount of detail, and even though I like it and the brick quite a bit, I think for me, I'd have to crown the gold as the champion of this box for me personally. And that's mainly because I have so many games where I can use these gold ingots. Next up is the Harvest Handbook, or what I like to call the Rosenberg box. This is going to have all of the resources you'd expect for a lot of farming Euros in particular. You're going to have pumpkins, wheat, meat, corn and bread, and yes, those classic bags of grain. All of these tokens are resin, and just like a lot of the tokens in this collection, these have a flat side so they can sit just so on the table if you're into looking at them in all their glory. The pumpkins and the meat are the real standouts in this box for obvious reasons. They're very colorful and incredibly detailed, but I think I'm going to have to go with the old favorite, the bag of grain. This token just looks that much more like a miniature prop of some kind, and it's always had something really cool about it that I've just always liked. So this is the winner for this box for me. Now, the third box takes a step in a unique direction. Unlike the first two, which are very basic resources that you've seen all over the place, these are going to be a little bit more unique and used for maybe some more modern games. This one's called the Elemental Essentials, and let's take a look at what's inside. In this one, you're going to get 20 blood drops, 20 water drops, 20 fire markers, 20 frozen markers, 20 electricity bolts, which are metal, and on top of it all, 8 smoke clouds and 4 explosion markers. Now, the obvious choice or candidate for champion of this box is probably the explosion token. However, I'm not going to go with this, even though it is absolutely glorious on the table. I do have to consider these electricity bolts, because while these ones here aren't metal, they are going to be metal in the final box, and I do have some uses for these. But I'm going to have to go with the tried and true fire token, because when I think about my game collection, just like with the gold ingots, I just have a few more games where I really can imagine using these fire tokens, something like Flashpoint or Nemesis. Unfortunately, those aren't usually good situations when you're using them, but I guess making a good thing out of a bad situation would be the idea here. And finally, there is the Catastrophic Compendium. This is volume 4 of this set. This one is perfect for post-apocalyptic gaming and all sorts of more modern settings in the games that you have in your collection. This comes with 20 bullet tokens, 20 hammer or tool tokens, 12 piles of bones, 20 fuel cans, 20 gears, and 20 nuclear waste barrels. Now, while I was first drawn to the pile of bones, I couldn't resist taking a look just beside those at the bullets and the nuclear waste barrels. There are some games that I have some particular use for these. In fact, Energy Empire, one of my favorite games, uses these nuclear waste barrels to really make that game pop. But I think I'm going to have to come back to the bullet. And there's one and one reason only for me on this, and that is to use it as ammunition when playing Arkham Horror, the card game. The interesting thing about all of these tokens is you're going to find a use for each and every one in so many different games. While we started with basic resources and food over here, which are going to apply to a lot of Euros, these other boxes have massive potential for being used in all sorts of games as well. And like I said at the beginning, all of these are made with high quality materials, from acrylic to resin to metal, and they just have a heft and a chunkiness that you really just can't deny. And another really cool feature of this collection is that each of these boxes looks like a book. So you can actually put these up on your shelf, spine out, for easy access when you need whatever token you're looking for. So if you see tokens in one box and maybe tokens in another box, consider mixing and matching. If you see tokens in all of them that you like, you can consider getting the entire set. If you have any more questions though, make sure to check out their campaign. They have a ton more details there, including a list of compatible games. And I can tell you the one they sent me doesn't even begin to scratch the surface of what games these tokens will work with. If you have any questions for me, please make them in the comments below. And until next time, make sure everyone has fun at the table, and I'll see you then. Congratulations, you got to the end of one of our videos. Now, if you want more practice, just click on the video over here. It's another video. You might not have seen it yet, so click on it. If you don't want to do that, at least click on the subscription button below. That always helps us. And if you want notifications, please ring that bell.